Welcome back. If you haven't seen in the news, it was recently a leap day on the 29th of February, and a couple of computer systems around the world had issues with this. And I thought I would do a tutorial on the DateTime and TimeSpan nodes to kind of combat this. So that in 4 years' time, when Neos is still thriving, we don't have any time zone or leap day or leap year problems. So here are the TimeSpan nodes, the DateTime nodes, and how to use them. Hop over to Smooth POV and get started. So in Smooth POV, I've got a normal logic step here, and I'm going to pop open the node menu, and I'm going to show you the folders that we're going to be taking a look at. So if you go inside Math, we're going to be using the TimeSpan folder and the DateTime folder. To get started though, we're going to need one more node, which is actually in Input. So inside Input, I'm going to grab UTC now. Now, UTC is the Universal Time Constant. I think that's the abbreviation expansion anyway. It basically means the universal time. Like most servers and backend systems are set to UTC just to make things simpler. So if I push this to the side and I put my Logix tooltip into this UTC now, you'll see we pull out a pink ribbon and I can hit secondary and I'll get the date time in UTC, which is the 3rd of the 3rd, 2020 at 5:56 a.m. Now, it's not 5:56 a.m. where I am, it's around 10 p.m. And that's because UTC closely aligns with kind of sort of UK time. It's just sort of where the time constant was drawn. So this isn't actually that useful. So the first thing we're going to do is convert UTC now into a more appropriate time zone. And to do that, we're going to go to Math, Date Time. I'm going to use the toLocalTime node. So if I now drag a ribbon from UTC now into toLocalTime and then pull a ribbon out of toLocalTime, you'll see there you go, about 10 p.m. on the day before, because UTC is ahead of me. I'm in Seattle, Washington, so that's quite in the past compared to UTC. There's a bunch of other nodes in this folder, so we're in date time here, so I can say, hey, what's the day? And it'll say 2. Or I can say, here, what's the month? And it will say 3, or the second, and then this will continually count as the seconds in the minute count up, so they line up with this digit here. You can also do the year, which will get us 2020, and there you go. There's also things like day of the week, day of the year, etc. These are all designed to help you out. Like, please don't do any maths about the day of the year, it's right here. There you go, 63. That's quite a lot of the way through the year, actually. Day of the week. And that will get you actually Tuesday, which is a data type there. So don't do any maths about that. Just use these nodes. It will handle everything for you. The good thing about these is these will all handle leap years as well. They're based on C# on the internals of the Neos engine, which should handle leap years correctly. You can also convert a UTC to what's called Unix milliseconds. Unix milliseconds is a time which computers use a lot. It's the number of milliseconds since 1970, September 1st or January 1st. I can never remember what. It's just someone at some point decided to start counting the seconds since 1970, and here's that number. Do look it up online if you want to know more about the history there. I've forgotten it. Not on purpose, just it fades from your memory when you just use it all the time. There's also 2 Unix seconds, which is the same, but in seconds rather than in milliseconds. That's it for the date time nodes. We're going to go into the time span category now, and I'm going to show you what's going on here. So if I do days, you'll see here that it takes a time span, which is interesting. So if I do time span from days here, and I say 3 days, and I get this time span data type out, you'll see it says 3 days. This is how it represents it. I can put this time span node into days and then get 3 out the other side. Whenever you're doing arithmetic with dates, use the time span nodes, because again, those will cater for things like leap seconds, leap years, days of the week, calendars of the week, all sorts of complications which you shouldn't have to worry about, and with these nodes you don't have to worry about. As an example here, I can go to the normal maths nodes, which are in operators, and grab plus, and I can take the local time, and I can plus 3 days to it. And you'll see here I get the, oh, not that one, this one. I get the 5th of the 3rd at 2200. So it's handled the days of the week, it's handled the time, it's handled everything perfectly. If I were to add, let's say, a really weird number, like 32 days to that, you'll see it's also handled the month boundary, and now we're into the 3rd of the 4th, so it's figured out we're in the next month. So that's really useful. So now let's say you wanted to take the UTC time or the local time and convert it to someone else's time zone. The way that you could do that is using the time span from hours node. This will create a time span from hours. So here if I say, you know, what's the time 5 hours into the future from UTC? So UTC plus 5, oh, not 5A, 5. I can again go local, not local time, we'll do UTC plus 5 hours, and then you'll see here that that's about right. So 6 plus 5 is 11. And again, this will coder for day rollovers. For example, here if I say, hey, what about 50 hours? You'll see it's jumped ahead to the 5th of the 3rd. And there's no math, so you don't need to do anything about that. You can also do things like total days, which will take the total days of a time span. So here, time span from days, total days, will give you 32 again. But if I did a time span from, say, time span from months, we don't have that. Time span from hours. Actually, that's good. Time span from hours here, we can put that into total days. It'll tell you the number of days in those hours, and you'll see 2.083 days. You can also do the total hours, total milliseconds, total minutes, and total seconds, and various other metrics there. Other arithmetic nodes will work, so you could do minus as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Just going to clean up a little bit. There we go. So here's minus, so I can do this time zone, and I can do minus, minus math, time span from hours, and I can say, hey, what was the time 2 hours ago? And there you go. For 4 AM 2 hours ago in UTC time. I could also put in the universal, the local time here, which would mean it'll make more sense to me. So yes, 2 hours ago it was about sort of 8 PM. I was eating dinner. So there you go. Those are the time span nodes. You can also add and subtract date times together. So here if we did, let's do, I wonder what happened if we did this. No, we can't add, we can minus, that's right. So I made a mistake there that we can't add the bright pinks, but you can subtract the bright pinks here. So if I did this, it'll give us a time span out, so the difference between 2 times. So what this means, if you wanted to create sort of an alarm clock or a stopwatch, for example, you could write to a variable the UTC now twice, minus it out, and then you'd get a time span out. So there you go. Let's go back to the DateTime folder. Inside the DateTime folder, you will see things such as construct DateTime. I do not recommend ever using this. There is no real reason to, and it's very sort of prone to errors here because it's asking you, what's the year, month, day, hour, minute, second, and millisecond. If you're doing maths to produce these, you may end up sort of mistaking how many days there are in each month, etc. There's also sort of weird date format things here. So here you can say, which time zone this is in. It's just a lot easier to just use the nodes I've shown you, but that one does exist. You can also format a date time into a string. Easiest way to do that is to go to operators to string. And then you'll see it comes out like that. You can use a format string. I'm not an expert on that, so look up the format string. If I make a video tutorial on format strings, I will let you know. But you can also format string parts of a time using the time spans as well. So actually if I plugged in this time span into here, you'll see it's figured it out 2 hours. is the formatted version of that time span. And there you go. So whenever you're using things like this, make sure you're using these pink, bright pink and faded pastel pink nodes, and you'll have a lot better time figuring out date time within Neos and within Logix, and hopefully avoid leap day bugs next time there's a leap day. I hope you had a good leap day, and I'll see you next time.